Hi, I'm Steve Krause, and welcome to English 328 Writing Style and Technology online for fall 2011. I just want to make a short video introducing myself and hit a couple highlights of the syllabus and just creating the first entry for you to add below here. Introduce yourself with a comment and maybe include an avatar for yourself. There's instructions about that below. Just a couple highlights of the syllabus and the schedule. I'm coming to you right now from my new office in Prairie Herald. It says TBA on the office, but it's actually 613M. And my office phone number is, I got to look at it because I just got it, it's 487-0985. But I'll update all that on the syllabus in a little bit. You see there for office hours, the best way by far I find to meet with people and to talk with people is to set up some kind of appointment. And often in online classes, I'll meet with people via Skype and talking to them on the phone and things like that. There's two basic books you need to get for the class. One of them is Strunk and White, The Elements of Style. Looks like that. This is the newest version, but any old version will work too. So if you have an older version like this, that'll be fine. That'll work out good. And then the other book that you need to get is Joseph Williams' Lesson Style Toward Clarity and Grace. And this is it's a yellow trade book, which means you can get this at like Barnes & Noble or whatever, as opposed to a textbook. So you should be able to get both those books pretty much anywhere, and they're pretty cheap. Let me say a few things about online participation. You've already all received from me a warning that I've been sending to students for a couple of years now, just to make clear that we all understand that an online class doesn't mean an easy class. It doesn't mean a study at your own pace class. It really demands a lot of responsibility on your part to stay involved and all that kind of business. I've started instituting an online attendance policy, and if you read through where it says online participation, that'll make sense. But basically, when you look at the schedule, you'll see that we do things between Monday and Wednesday and Friday, and I expect people to begin participating in class on Monday, and then we'll wrap up the discussions on Wednesday, and begin participating on Wednesday, and wrap up the discussions on Friday. I'll explain what I mean when we get to the schedule. But the point is this: you should, to get a good grade for participation, participate in all the discussions for the class. But at a minimum, I expect you to be at least present. And if you're not posting something during that week, I will count you as absent. And as I say there on the policy, if you're absent from class like this 3 times, I'll dock your participation grade by 30%. And if it's more than 3 times, I'll dock your participation grade by 150%. Being there and participating in the class is one of the big differences between an online class and a face-to-face class, because you would think, if you've never taken an online class before, that participation is not as big of a deal online as it is face-to-face, but actually just the opposite is true, because the only way that I can tell if you're engaged in the class is if you're posting regularly the discussions. The next part of the class I want to talk about is, and this is, you can read more about participation, there are the blogs. They're worth 150 points for the entire term. It's kind of the equivalent of an essay for the class. Each blog entry is a prompt that I will give to you that you will answer, and you'll do this in a timely fashion according to the calendar. The biggest thing about these blog posts is that you need to do them and do them on a timely basis. As long as you do them, you'll do fine on this part of the course. Sometimes people forget to do them, and that's where they run into trouble. Setting up a WordPress blog is very, very simple to do. Just follow the instructions, and if you run into trouble with that, I'll help you out as we go along. Most of the class is, of course, the major writing projects. There's an invent your own writing technology project, a project about YouTube and ancient style, a revision of either of the first 2 projects, and a parody, imitation, remake of style rules based on the style guides that we'll read, and those are the 2 books that you'll get. And those 2 projects in the middle are kind of one project. You'll see what I mean. And the last project is a collaborative movie project. This is the one that a lot of people worry about in an online class, but believe me, I've done this before. It always works out just fine. All the projects this semester you'll post on Google Docs. And Google Docs is a very user-friendly, useful way to share documents with other readers, so we'll be using this for peer review, and it's also a really good way for me to keep track of what sort of revisions that you did on projects, so I should be using those for revisions as well. Your essay should follow the rules of MLA style. I don't accept late projects. There's one exception to that, is if you tell me about something being late ahead of time, I will usually grant you some sort of extension, but when something's due and you tell me it's late, it's too late. and I will dock a letter grade for every 72 hours it's late. And as you'll see in terms of the implications of this for the class, in order to pass the class, you have to complete all the assignments regardless of the grade that you receive on any particular one of them. Read on about revisions, and we'll talk more about that later, but I'm a big fan of revision for this class. I think that one of the ways that we learn most about writing and style in particular is to practice and repractice and revise and revisit our writing. So I try to emphasize that in this class as much as I possibly can. And again, what I want to get, and there's a final for the class as well, which is really something tied to, for those of you who are interested or involved in English education, to the National Council for the Accreditation of Teachers of Education. But it's also a very low stakes, easy exam that will allow all of us to reflect on things that we did during the course of the semester. As I say here, in order to pass the course, you must complete all the major writing projects and the final, regardless of your grades for any of the other components of the course, and regardless of the grades of the missing components. So, if you, for example, miss an essay, but you get A's and everything else, you'll still fail the course. So make sure that you get everything done. The issues about grading, I think, are pretty straightforward based on that. As you can see in the chart, the information on the page there. And read through the information about privacy. Really, the main thing to keep in mind is that I'll always refer to you on the website, because it's a live website. This, what you're looking at right now, is out on the world for everyone in the world to see. I'll always refer to you by your first name and last initial. How you refer to yourself is kind of up to you, but it's something to keep in mind. Your Google Docs, you can keep a little bit more to yourself, but we'll talk more about that as we get there. Be sure to read the fine print about access services and plagiarism. And let me just take one moment to look at the schedule really quickly. If you look at the schedule page, you'll see, and I'm looking at it right now, you'll notice, for example, for week 1, it says August 31st to September 2nd, begin by Wednesday and complete by Friday. That means I'm expecting the class to begin on Wednesday, and you start those activities, and then we'll wrap up on Friday. And as a better example, let me skip over to next week. Monday is a holiday, so we'll begin by Tuesday, complete by Wednesday. By Tuesday, I expect you to read and discuss the selection from Plato's Phaedrus, which I'll feature on the website. Read and discuss Walter Ong's Writing as a Technology Researcher's Thought, that's available through the eReserve site, and begin discussion of the Invention on Writing Technology project. All these things should begin by Tuesday and wrap up the discussion by Wednesday. If everybody waits until Wednesday, then we can't really have a discussion about it. So that's why I want you to begin the discussion by Tuesday. So then for the next part of the week, begin by Wednesday, complete by Friday. You'll hopefully get the hang of it as we go along. It's the sort of thing that most people catch on to pretty quick. Okay, I think that's it for now. You'll see lots of different things behind me as I finally get moved into my office. But in the meantime, I just want to welcome you to class. And as I always like to say, I'll see you online.